Hey book lovers, I'm Kendelle and welcome to Bound by Fantasy, a channel all about books and bookish things. Today we're going to go through my 2024 reads. I have marked 57 books as I've read this last year. I believe it is more than that, but that is what I have down in my Goodreads and Fables after I was pretty consistent about marking those. So it may be more than that, but I'm just going to go through the ones that I definitely marked down and when I started being super consistent about marking down my reads. So they're in no particular order. I did not put them in reading order. I just kind of scattered them all over and I'm just going to grab them and talk about them as I go. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the one we just did the video on. So it was Assistant to the Villain, and then of course I followed up with Apprentice to the Villain. So a funny thing about this is I got Assistant to the Villain in Audible, and I was listening to that, and I almost DNF'd the book. Crazy, because I love these books. So I almost DNF'd it because at first I couldn't get through the talking in her head in third person. And I didn't know if I could keep going with a book that was like that. But I am super excited that I decided to continue with the book because I love them. I think she's quirky. I think it's fun. It is just a fun, quick read, and it's not super heavy. And I actually was guessing until the end. I figured it out before she did. But I didn't know fully. When I did my reread, I saw all the hints a lot better. Hints that I didn't pick up on the first time, which I normally do. So that's why I really like these books, is the fact that I remembered and didn't remember them, the hints all at the same time. So I was pleasantly surprised when you got to the plot twist. So I would definitely recommend these books to anyone. They're fun, quirky fantasy romance. So another book that I did was the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I have not read the third one yet. I do have it on my TBR for this year. I was hoping to get to finish it by the end of 2024. I didn't get to it. I didn't have time. I'm a mom of 3 and I work full time. And my husband works opposite shift than I do, so reading at night doesn't always happen. But I did read the first 2, and I liked them. I thought the trials were really good. I thought it was interesting how her character was portrayed and how she changed. And I definitely enjoyed these books, and I definitely would recommend these to people. I loved the enemies to lovers and then re-enemies to lovers because of the ending of the first book. I knew it was coming, but I was still surprised by how it came about. I didn't think it would go about that way, and I was like, oh, that just happened. So I did enjoy that, and I would definitely recommend these to others. So another series that I read that some people either love it or they hate it was The Coven and the Curse. I like these books. I don't know. I just did. I thought they were super quick reads. I definitely think there could have been more world building in these books. I think the world that they're in is super interesting and there wasn't much with the world. I'm hoping there's going to be a third book, especially after how they ended this one. I don't think there is, but you never know. Yeah, they kind of just ended it and was like, okay. And then you're like, wait, something happened. And no one's talking about that or what's going to happen with it. So like I said, I know some people don't like this book, but I did. I enjoyed them. And I definitely recommended them to a coworker and she read them and she enjoyed them. Would I give them a 5 out of 5? No, I did not give them a 5 out of 5. But I did like them, and they're going to stay on my shelf, and also they're beautiful. So let's just give them a raise for that. Now, one of my 5 out of 5 books was The Run in the Holly Library. So I actually got this, didn't know what it was about, had no idea. I brought this home, not even having read the back. Like, I was just in a book buying mode. I picked this up. I wanted it. It was during one of the Target sales. It was the buy two, get one free. And I was like, yep, you're coming home with me. You are gorgeous. I mean, look how pretty it is. And then the inside. Like, what? What? I was like, okay, yeah, you're coming home with me. I love this book. Okay? I really, really, really love it. And I cannot wait to read the next one. I am super excited. It's already pre-ordered. This was crazy that it was a 5-star read for me this year. And I picked it up not knowing what it was about. Definitely go out and find it. It's worth it. Another book that, again, I knew slightly that it had to do with outer space. And that was about it. And it's labeled as a romance. I would not put it in the romance category. I don't know why it's in the romance category, to be honest. You can feel a little bit romantic tension, but that is not the main part of this book. And that is Heaven Breaker. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was definitely different from the books I typically read. Like, it was outer space. It had machines. But it was good. And I liked how it ended. I liked the spin to it. I am definitely looking excited for book 2. There is no release date yet on it. I hope it comes out soon. But I really enjoyed it. Again, beautiful book. I mean, just look at that. And then the front cover. It was definitely a really good pick. And I like that it kind of brought me on to something I don't typically read. And I liked it. I liked it. Then we got this big boy. Like, I saw this on TikTok. Straight going to say it. I bought it because of TikTok. I did not realize how thick this book is. Like, so everyone holds it up like this. And you're like, oh, it's a nice little small book. Because, I mean, here's a normal size. Here's this. Fine. This is thick. I was surprised. Did I like this book? I did. I did like this book. I definitely would recommend it. I enjoyed reading it. And I had fun when I read it. So definitely go and check this out. It has a lot of building. So there is a lot of pages that you read. And you're like, I read a ton. I know a lot of stuff, but not much stuff happened. But it's definitely good. And the ending this was left on, not okay. Not okay. No. This next book needs to come out like now. And I need to have it in my possession because I did not enjoy how this one ended. So it needs to come out. All right. So another series that I finished in 2024, well, I shouldn't say finished because it is still going on, is Light Lark. So Light Lark and Nightbane I read, and I don't know. I really do not know what team I'm on. Team Oro, Team Grimm. They both have great things, and I am currently listening to Sky Shade, and I feel her confliction. Like, I feel the confliction full time. I can see why she fell in love with Grimm. I can see why she fell in love with Oro. They both truly love her back. Like, girl, you're in trouble. Like, you're in trouble. That's all I gotta say. She's in trouble. Another one of my 5-star reads for 2024 was A City of Gods and Monsters. I am super excited in 2025 to keep going with this series. I do have other TBRs that I want to prioritize. I definitely want to get back to this. But it was nice that this ending wasn't a cliffhanger. I didn't need to rush into it. It's definitely something I definitely want to get back to. But it wasn't so cliffhanger, drop the hammer on us, get the next book in your hands immediately. So I'm super excited because, again, these are thick books. All of them are thick books. They are so good. It is kind of the inner, darker side of the city, mafia meets monsters. Really good. I'm really excited to continue this series. I just need some time because, like I said, they're thick. They had a lot of pages. Definitely 100% would recommend that book. It's definitely one of my 5-star reads of 2024. Another 5-star read of 2024 was One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. This was another different book. Like, it was just a different magical system. It was intriguing the way their magic works in their worlds. The nightmare was amazing. I really liked that part of the book. And I have to tell you, if you want to read these books and you kind of do like what I do, where you listen and then you read when you can, I would definitely suggest the Audible. The audio for this, it is chef's kiss. Like, she does the nightmare voice perfect. The click, click, click. It's just, it's good. I think I like the Audible. I think I like these books more because of listening to the Audible. They're good. They're really good. Go read them. If you haven't read them, get them on your TBR. You need to read these. So I went to Ireland in 2024 over the summer, and that's kind of honestly, it was just before then, closer to the end of the school year, that I'm a teacher, so I'm going to say school year, so that I really started recording my books. And while I was there, I picked up 2 books, and I was super excited to bring them home and excited to read them. They did not make my 5 out of 5 star reads this for 2024, but I did enjoy them and I would recommend them, but they're definitely a recommendation that comes with kind of a little warning that you need to kind of know a backstory before you read these. The first was The Binding. I did enjoy this book. I thought there could be more done with the book, but it was definitely good. It's about you can bind your memories inside of a book. So books are not just books. They are somebody's memories. Somebody's memories that were kind of like zapped out of a person's brain. And usually people do this to hide secrets or hide something terrible they've done. And it is about a man who realized that he has a book. And it's about figuring out what is in his book. What did he forget? And does he want to remember? So it was good. Wasn't a 5-star read, but it was good. The City of Stardust was the other one I picked up in Ireland. And I did enjoy this book. I was hoping for more. It was actually a quick read. I thought it could have been bigger. I thought they could have added more to it. But I did really like the story. It wasn't a 5-star read because it didn't give me what I wanted out of the story. I needed more, I guess. And I did like it, but like I said, I think the main character was pretty like powerful and a bad bee, but it wasn't super portrayed, and I think they could have done more with her. Would I recommend this? Definitely. Was it a 5-star? No. Excuse me. And then I do like to switch up what I'm reading a little bit. I definitely read some Colleen Hoover. I didn't record them all at the beginning of the year, so I cannot tell you which ones were technically marked in 2024. But I do flip over to the romance side, the mystery side every once in a while. I read The Paris Apartment. This wasn't as good as I was hoping it was going to be. I'm not going to lie, I was slightly disappointed. Did it keep me guessing? Definitely. Did it keep me entertained? I don't know. it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't a full mystery feel. It wasn't like I need to figure it out. I wanted to figure it out. I stuck around and figured it out, but it definitely didn't do it as much. So, also in 2024, I read The Wedding Guest. And I got what I wanted out of The Wedding Guest. I thought it was good. Sometimes the switching back and forth was a little too much, and I'm like, I need to get back to the person. But it was definitely better, and I enjoyed it more than The Paris Apartment. So I would definitely recommend these books, but they're not 5 stars. Another book that I did was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I really like this book. I really liked it. I thought it was intriguing. I thought how it kind of like goes about her life, and she is kind of non-apologetic about her behavior. I didn't love that aspect. I mean, I do feel like apologies are due in times. I do feel like you have to own what you did, but you still should apologize. So she owns what she does and how she behaves, but she doesn't apologize for them. She lives with, there's no regrets. It happened to happen, and I'm just going to move on. But it was definitely good. You should definitely read this. I actually did a couple rereads in 2024, and I'm counting them. Girl, I took time to read them. I don't care if they're reread. They're getting counted because I spent the time, especially this book. This book is so good. Discovery Witches is so good. I can't express it. The second book I do love more than the first, but it was good. Did it take me a while to get started? Yes. Did I almost DNF it the very first time I read this book? Heck, yes. I was like, oh man, this is a snooze fest. I can't get past these first, 100 pages. But when you give this book a really good shot, so good. And I reread this book, and she's thick, guys. I'm going to definitely count her as it because she deserves to be counted. I liked this book. I liked rereading it. I'm going to continue rereading the other ones. I just need to grab the audibles because, like I said, this was the kind of book that it's too thick. I won't finish it if I'm just reading it in my house when my kids finally decide to fall asleep. So as soon as I get the audibles, the audio, I will come back and talk about them. It's just I have to get them through the Libby app, and they are waitlisted. Probably because the Netflix series is out, which is also good. So go watch that. I also reread for our annotating book club, Harry Potter Classic. Okay. This is just a quick, fun read. And I liked it. I had a good time rereading this. Always Harry Potter. I mean, you can't say to not read Harry Potter. What are you? Okay, I had to pause the video because I had to get out my stack. And, of course, I read the ACOTAR series. I read this right in the beginning. So I did mark it in my Fable and my Goodreads app. I didn't remember all of it again. And these were in the books where I was not consistent of marking them in the apps. I did know I read them last year, so I did mark them all, but I know I missed books. I just know I did because until I really got, I think probably past this, I didn't mark them. I mean, I knew I had Goodreads, but I didn't really use them. But I mean, what can you say about this? You have to. They're just so good. Like, good start. Good intro. You got to get through this to get to the rest. Because this book is worth it. This book is worth it. This is going to give you all sorts of fantasy. This is a quick little bloop. And then this is just a fun read. I'm on the side where I don't love this book. This does have a lot of controversy because of who this is about. I'm kind of on the side where I could have cared less. But I did enjoy reading the book, and I definitely would read it again. I'm not going to lie. So in 2023, I tried to read this series. I listened to the audiobook of A Court of Thorns and Roses. And I quit. I hardcore DNF'd it. I never thought I was going to go back. I was done. I was like, nope, that's it. I'm done. That was stupid. I can't. She's too whiny. It's a woe is me. I'm starving. Woe is me. My village sucks. Woe is me. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I dropped it I dropped it so fast. And one of my coworkers, she just kept talking about it. And I was just like, oh, maybe I need to give it another shot. Maybe I need to try again. And with her encouragement, so thank you, Andrea, because I'm so glad I went back. I picked up the physical copy of books. I borrowed them from my cousin, and I started reading. And, sorry guys, I read, and I couldn't put them down. I finally got it. You get to those last 100 pages, you are in it for the long haul. Such a good series. I cannot wait for the next book to come out. We better get a release date soon, please, because the theories going on are out of control. I'm currently reading Crescent City in 2024. That is a physical read with Andrea from work. So we are reading that together. So it's probably going to take me a while to get through the Crescent City series, just because, again, it's a physical read, and I'm a mama 3. My husband works nights. So unless the kids are sleeping, I'm not reading. Would I even be a true Sarah J. Maas fan if I didn't go through her entire Throne of Glass in a year? Don't think so. This is a commitment, guys. This is a lot. A lot of pages, a lot of books, but man, is it worth it. You can't put this series into words. You cannot. Kingdom of Ash breaks you in all the right places. It's just, I can't even put it into words. This series is just good. It is definitely, will always be one that I'm going to come back to, compare other series to. Does it give me that fantasy element with the romance in it? This is what I would call the romantasy vibe, because you have a lot of fantasy. There's a lot of world building. There's a lot to these characters, but you do still have the romance aspect. It's just not hot and heavy in the front, but it's just good. It's good. If you haven't, you gotta read it. It's worth it. You'll thank me later. All right, another 2024 read was the Caraval series. I didn't rate this as a 5-star read. I really enjoyed Caraval. I thought it was good. I loved the challenge. I really liked her going through it. I like how it ended. I just didn't love how these ended. It's not that I didn't enjoy these. I did enjoy these. I would definitely recommend this series. I just really, really like this female lead and not so much this female lead. She just didn't do it for me. I don't know why. I don't know. I can't pinpoint what was so different about the two. I just enjoyed this one more. I liked her character a little bit more than her character. And she's in these other books, but she's not the lead I feel like she deserves to be. I did really enjoy this one, though. I just thought it was a fun, quick, I would call it Christmassy vibe. It's a holiday book. It has a holiday story. The book itself is gorgeous. Okay? Gorgeous. It's colored. I read it in a day. Okay? It was just good. I really, really liked this. And overall, I would definitely recommend the series. I do want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, but if anything can tell you if I truly love the series or not, I will not be buying Once Upon a Broken Heart for my shelves just because I don't want to be disappointed. I like those books, but they weren't a 5-star to me. Sorry. And then, of course, if I read ACOTAR, I had to have read Fourth Wing. So I also read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame this year. This one I read before ACOTAR, and I think was the reason I gave ACOTAR another shot. These were just good. They got me back into reading. You can hate on ACOTAR and you can hate on Fourth Wing and Iron Flame all you want, but without these books, this Mama 3 wouldn't have gotten to 57 books this year. There's no way. These books got me back into reading. They got me out of my years of reading slump. I love to read. I have 3 bookcases in my room, but these ones and ACOTAR, they made me read everything else. They got me back into reading. They made me feel the itch again, and I am so thankful. I will always be thankful. I cannot wait until the 21st. I'm counting the days. We're going to be reading that ASAP. There was a couple more books that I read. I did read the Inheritance Games, that whole series, on audiobook. It was good. I think had I read the books, would I have figured it out earlier? I think so. I think the hints I would have read would have told me what was going on a little bit sooner. But reading the Audible books, I think it kept me guessing, because every once in a while you do kind of go off track and then you're like, oh crap, I forgot what I just listened to. And so I definitely think I also couldn't do my typical grab my book and go back and figure out, I think I heard that before, let me look that back up. So I definitely think that is what helped me be surprised by this book. And I'm thankful I read them. I couldn't stop listening. I found every single second of the day that I could listen. I would put my headphones on when I was cleaning the house or making dinner, because I had to know. I would go to work early and I would listen as I was getting the stuff ready for the day, because I devoured those books. First and second, couldn't finish them fast enough. Loved them so much, I got my coworker to instantly start reading them. I was like, you have to read these with me. They're so good. I am obsessed. I have already finished the first one. I'm on to the second one. Catch up, girl. We both got to the third, and it didn't give us the same vibe. It was kind of upsetting. I mean, I devoured the first and the second, and the third just didn't do it for us. So I do have the Brothers Hawthorne, and then I forget what the new one, Games Untold. Have I gotten to them? No, I think I'm just a little scared because I was so disappointed from the third and didn't get what I got from the first 2, that I'm scared to read these 2 just because I don't want to be disappointed again. So I do have them in my TBR cart. I am going to read them. I just gotta get there. I did also read The Butcher and Blackbird. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. I didn't like it enough that I returned the book. I read it in a day. It's a really quick read. But it just didn't do it for me. I can't say anymore. I returned it. Sorry. Then I did read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I know a lot of people give this book some kind of a little bit of digs. I enjoyed it. I got what I got. It's a romance book. It is a fluffy Hallmark story romance book. If you didn't go in with those expectations, you weren't going to like it. You had to know going in, it's a corny romance book. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to give you those vibes, and it's supposed to give you like the laying in bed with a blanket and a cozy drink and just watching a Hallmark movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I would read it again. I had no problems. I did have a problem, however, with the next book, and that was Can't Spell Treason Without T. I read the book. I DNF'd the series. I will not be going back. Have I picked up the second book of this multiple times in the bookstore? Absolutely. Do I think I will ever go back and get it? No. I honestly thought about just donating this. I'm sorry. I wanted to love this book so much, and I think that's why I have such a struggle with this, because I wanted to read this so much. I wanted to love it, and the fantasy element in here could have been so good. So good if they followed that storyline. And they didn't. It was romance. It was about their love, which was a great story. Their love was a great story. But when you tease such a good fantasy line and then don't really do much with it, it just made me not love the book as much. I loved their love. I loved the story of their love. But don't tease me with a super cool fantasy line and then do nothing with it. Sorry. Another book of 2024 was The Starling House. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't do it for me. It wasn't terrible though. I did finish it. And I definitely would recommend it. I picked it up at a local bookstore. They were having an event and I grabbed it. I thought it was pretty. I thought the back of the story was intriguing. It just didn't give me everything I wanted. But I definitely, I don't know. Maybe I have to go back and reread it. Let me know in the comments. Do I need to give this one another shot to really get the vibes? Or am how I'm feeling? Is that normal? I also read Divine Rivals. And I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for some of these books that I'm not liking and not loving. The best thing about reading is they're your own. I mean, if you don't like something, you don't like something. That could be someone else's favorite and not yours. So don't come at me in the comments. Just know that I did read them. I just might not finish them. And Divine Rivals is one of them. I love their love story. I guess it gave me the same feeling as You Can't Spell Treason Without T. It was a good love story, but the background fantasy element is what I wanted. I wanted that war with these two gods. I wanted to know more about that. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know the background. And I just felt it was just a fantasy. It was just a romance story with a dab of fantasy. I guess I like mine a little bit more with fantasy with a dab of romance or a splash of romance. More romance, but heavier on the fantasy side. So I feel like that's why Divine Rivals didn't do it for me. I would definitely say to read it. I thought it was good, like I said, but will I be reading the second book? No, I will not. I know I feel like some people didn't like the second book because, now I might be on the wrong assumption, but my assumption is that it had more fantasy than the first one, and that's why people didn't love it as much. I just can't get past how the first one made me feel, and it made me feel like I was struggling to finish it. I wanted to know how their love story went, and then the ending is a cliffhanger. It's just a cliffhanger I didn't care to keep going with. So, sorry guys. Then I also read His Lost Queen and another book on a reading app. And they were fantasy. They were about werewolves. I didn't mind them. I just felt like I was dragging their feet. And the main female character, the FMC, no. She drove me crazy. Like, I love werewolf men. Like, their alcoholism as said in Crescent City. But this one didn't do it. It was too extreme. Too much. Treated her like a baby. Did I finish it? Yeah, because I wanted to know what happened. And I was hoping I would get the good vibes from the second one. But I didn't, and that's okay. It happens. Another one that I read was Fallen University books 1 through 3. So it's actually 3 books. I don't know. Like, I just... it's not my first experience with more than one male character, but it is my first experience with 4. And I don't know. It was heavy on that. And I mean, they even had like an epilogue at the end that was just for the smut. And I don't know. I think it was almost more spice than story. And I guess, like I said, I more lean towards the fantasy than the romance. I want the romance in there. Don't get me wrong. I do like the spice, but I like a really good fantasy storyline to go with it. Would I recommend these to probably anyone else? I don't know. I'd have to give them some warnings before they read them. I mean, I've read all I listened to all 3. I did them on audiobook, and yeah, I think I feel like it was one I felt like I had to finish, but I didn't really want to finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's those books where you might want to DNF it, but you just finish it anyways. Yeah, that was one of them. Okay, so to finish up, I loved all of, like, if I read it in 2024, I enjoyed it. I know I didn't love everyone, but I had fun with them, and that's what matters. Have fun with your reading. Explore new books, because how are you going to know if you don't like a type of book unless you read it? I know I'm more on the heavier fantasy side, if it's going to have any fantasy in it. If it's just a straight romance book, give it to me. I love them too. I read this series. This was another one. And I love them. This is straight romance. It is just about different types of couples, from enemies to lovers, lost redemption stories. And I enjoyed these. Heck yes. Quick, easy romance books. Love them. Super heavy fantasy. Loved it. I just now know what I like more. If it's going to have a splash of fantasy, it better have all the fantasy I want with the romance. It can't just be romance with a background fantasy that you're going to give me nothing for. I definitely love that I stepped out of my element. I read books that I wouldn't have read. The 7 Husbands of Emily Hugo. Probably would have never picked that up on a normal day, but thankfully I saw people talking about it. I wouldn't have normally picked up The Paris Apartment or The Wedding Guest or List. Sorry. So just enjoy your reading. Try different books out. Get books from other cities, because I'm telling you right now, it is so fun to read books from other cities that were published in other countries. Get them. And the covers there, beautiful. Now, I said I probably wouldn't have gotten the physical copies of Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I would have. I actually lied. I realized I lied as I was walking through this video, because in Ireland, they had beautiful covers of these books, and I would have bought them. But I debated too long, and when we went back to go find them, they only had the first 2 and they didn't have the third. And I couldn't buy two beautiful covers and then have to go with the United States cover when I got home. So I didn't buy them. I definitely do want to read that series. And Ashley's got my back because she has that series. So I will be excited to read that series because I love Jax. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm going to read a lot in 2025. I'm way too ambitious with my goal of 70 books. Way too ambitious. But we're going to try for it anyways. I'm already off to a great start. I am reading The Sky Shade, and I can't wait to keep going with that. I just saw books I completely forgot. Whoops. The Powerless series. Yeah, I read those. Yeah, I totally forgot. So I read this and I liked it. And I read Reckless, and I like that too. And I'm gonna read Powerful. So I'm sorry, I totally forgot about this. I definitely cannot wait for the new one to come out either. What was I thinking? I can't wait for that new one to come out. You just dropped the bomb at the end. You're just like, boom. Here, I'm going to leave you with this one last line. That's it. Just one line. And then it's over. Story's over. What? What just happened? So I'm really excited to go through this and continue this series. And I can't believe I almost forgot it. But if you like what you saw, please subscribe, hit the bell, and comment below. Don't be too harsh on the ones I didn't like because they might have been your favorites, and I'm sorry. But definitely let me know if you've read any of the ones I've read. If you did you like them? Would you read them again? And what are other ones that you would recommend? Because even though my TBR cart is overflowing, I can always read more. Bye, guys.